Welcome to Insight Builder channel, data leaders, big data learners, and my dear friends. Building single node Hadoop cluster, live discussion and installation process started. If you are new to this particular series of videos, I would suggest that please take a look at this particular playlist in my YouTube video channel for getting an overview of building your own big data cluster to work on ETL, ELT and various big data projects. Getting back to the presentation, in this video, we are going to take care of the first two steps. We are going to ensure that you have the cloud sign-in done, and we are going to understand the compute and initiate the compute. Without further ado, let us go to the browser and fire up our AWS console. This will be how the console will look for you when you have already signed in to the AWS cloud environment. If you are using Azure or Google Cloud, ensure that you have also signed into your respective environments. And we are going to, in this video, we are primarily going to provision our EC2 instance and then install Ubuntu Linux operating system. That is what we are going to do. That is the first step, right? So first and foremost, click on EC2. If it is not available in the recently visited area, you can search at the top and you can get the EC2 instance page. Once you get to the EC2 instance page, we will start the process right now. So the page is loading. We have to take care of important aspects. So let me share you the first and foremost. You have to understand the performance that is required. I have told that we need 2 GB minimum 2 CPUs, that is vCPUs, minimum 2 vCPUs, and 8 GB RAM and 22 GB of space. This is the minimum requirement, right? So what we are going to do is we have to first of all see what kind of instances we have got. So what we can do is we can directly click on this instance. I'm going to zoom in a bit so that it will be easier for you guys to see my page, and I'm going to click on the instance type here. So the instance type here, you can take a look at the instances that are available. This will actually show you which instances to work upon. There are so many options available, and each of the instances will have different, it is populating right now. Each of these instances will have different architecture, vCPUs, memory, etc. And if you are new to AWS, you will have the free tier access also. So if you take a look at it, T1 micro and T2 micro will have free tier access. And T1 micro and T2 micro will have free tier access, but these have very low memory size. So you see here it's only 0.6 and 1 GB of RAM for T2. However, we need to go at least up to T2 large. So this is what we are going to use. So minimum 2 vCPUs, x86 architecture and 8 GB of RAM, and the performance is low to moderate. And you see the price here. So you see it is going to cost almost 1 cent. It is going to cost 1 cent for on demand and 1.2 cent for on-demand Windows and on-demand Linux. So here we are going to use only Linux. So it's maximum going to cost us 0.1 cent. It is going to cost us 1 cent per hour. So that is the the logic behind this. And if you are going to use it for even 10 hours, we are going to just a minute. Let me ensure that I am calculating it right. For 1 hour we are going to use 10 cents because it was actually having 0.09. So this is the confusion. These guys are very tricky. So it's going to cost us 10 cents per hour. Okay, this is 0.09. So it is actually 10.1. So it is 10 cents. Keep this in mind. Okay, so like how I made the mistake, you might also make a mistake. It's 10 cents per hour. So if you are going to use it for 10 hours, you are going to spend $1. If you are going to use it for 100 hours, you are going to spend $10. And think about it. with just $10 of spending, you are not going to use more than 100 hours, right? Even after installation, all those stuff, even if you're going to use it for 100 hours, you are going to spend only $10. So it is a worth spend that you are going to do on this particular kind of instance, and you can learn a lot also. You can go for other instances like 4 CPUs, 16 GB RAM also. It is also almost very similar to this, but it will be little more costly. It will be twice the cost. Okay, it will be $20 per 100. So when you have this kind of a clarity, right, you can make decisions very clearly. So we are going to go with T2 large only. Okay, now that instance type is understood, the specification is understood, the next step what we are going to do is we are going to click on this 3 button and we are going to go to the instances. We are going to provision the instance right now. Okay, before we provision the instance, right, we need to actually have a key pair. This activity needs to be done. Ensure that you have done this and you have a key pair with you, because this is going to be a very important step. Okay, so I'm going to click on key pairs, and once I click on key pair, you see I already have 2 key pairs. Okay, so I will not be saving the key, but you need to save it. And also ensure that you have a Linux local operating system, since it will actually help you easily manage the key pairs. If you are having Windows operating system, you can still do it. It's better that you have at least you should have, if you are using Windows operating system, ensure that you are having WSL, that Windows Subsystem Linux is available, and through that you can do an SSH to the EC2 instance. Either of this you must be having. Okay, keep that in mind. And now let us actually close this side window and click on key pair. Once you click on key pair, it will ask you a name. So give a name. So you say BYOB key. Okay, build your own big data cluster hyphen key, and you don't need to worry about the key pair. Okay, if you are going to use Windows, you should use PuTTY and you should use PPK. But as I was suggesting that you are going to use Windows Subsystem Linux, if you are having Windows operating system, choose PEM only. So you will be working with OpenSSH. Okay, and then create key pair. Once you click on create key pair, the key pair will get created. Okay, and it will ask you to save it. So the saving window is not shown in this video for the security purpose. So saving is not shown. You have to save the key in your in your home directory. So for an example, in Linux, it will be directly home directory of the user that you are working. That should be straightforward. In case of Windows Subsystem Linux, you will have to save it in your local Windows environment and then move it into the Subsystem Linux. So this activity, I am not showing it in this video. Ensure that you can get it done if you are using Windows Subsystem Linux. Now that the key is created, we will be using this key in the future steps. However, I will be using Sunday PIN. So this is the key I will be using for my activities. So I'm going to, if you want to delete this, you can click on delete and you have to say delete and the key will get deleted. So now that the key pair activity has been understood and clearly, next what we are going to do is we are going to go into instance creation. So we understood what is an instance, what are the specification of the instance. Next what you are going to do is we got the key pair enabled, and after that we are going to go into the instance and we are going to launch the instance. This step we are going to do. Okay, this is where all these things will come together. All the steps that we did will come together right now. So we are going to say the name is B. Again, the name is going to be simple. So we are going to say build your own big data cluster, right? So BYOB, and next you are going to choose Ubuntu. Okay, don't think about any other operating system here. Rest of the operating systems have their own challenges. So go with Ubuntu. Ubuntu is easy to manage, and also you can do a lot with basic Ubuntu also. Don't worry about all this image and etc. It's all well. It has been already tested. Here you need to select, as we already decided, we are going to select T2 dot large. Okay, so 2 vCPU family. So you see the pricing here. You see the Windows pricing, RHEL pricing, and SUSE Linux pricing. So we are going for Linux, basic Linux. This operating systems also have their own licensing requirements. So that's why you see that basic Linux is having different USD per hour charge, that is 10 cents, while in case of RHEL it has 15 cents, and in case of SUSE it's 20 cents almost. So select this instance type. You see that it has got, you can also compare it, it's not required actually, and you need to select this is where the key pair comes in. So I'm going to use SundayPem. Okay, keep this in mind, and this key pair should be there with you. If you miss this key pair, you will not be able to log into your cluster. So keep this key pair safe. Okay, so I am repeating this. You should keep this key pair safe. The file that you got when you saved the key pair, you need to keep it safe. That is how you are going to log into the cluster. If you lose that key pair, you will not be able to SSH into the cluster. Okay, so we will be doing the SSH in this video itself, so you will see how it is going to be used. Now that key pair is set, and we have selected the instance type. Next, what you are going to do is, if you are confident about your EC2, AWS or cloud administration skills, then go ahead and change these things and modify the security group that the way you want. However, I would suggest that let the create security group option be selected. Let it create a new security group with allowing SSH traffic from anywhere. This is going to be a practice cluster for you guys. Okay, so just relax. Nothing is going to be done harm to you. Use this option and start the practice. And later, once you get used to AWS and related cloud services, then you can understand how to configure your security groups. It's basically a firewall. Also, allow these two also, because we need the internet traffic to also enter. We want HTTPS and HTTP traffic because we are going to pull the data from, as I was explaining, this particular cluster is going to be used for installing the big data softwares also. The softwares come from internet. And for the internet traffic to come into the cluster or the EC2 instance, you need to allow, first of all, that the traffic actually comes in from the internet. So allow that also. Okay. And here, ensure that you are giving 22 GB. This is minimum 22 GB you need to provide. Okay. Else, there will be challenges that comes later as the files you need to process, right, will be large. Okay, this is 22 GB is the minimum. You can actually give 100 GB also, or you might be thinking, okay, we are going to work on a cluster, but you are only asking us to provision 22 GB. See, the point here is that you want to practice. Okay, and when you are practicing, you should ensure that you actually work at the bare minimum. Then only you will actually go into the details. So when we are given free reign, that okay, use any number of CPUs, use any number of RAM and GB, what will you do? You will not actually learn the actual limits of a system. So this is the bare minimum limits. After I tested a couple of instances and specification, I found that this is a bare minimum. Below this, you will face challenges. Okay, rest of the things, don't touch anything. Okay, this is all done. So just say click launch instance. So the instance will get launched. Okay, the instance will get launched, and next so the instance will get launched and we will be able to connect to this instance. So I am going to stop the video here. Okay, and I will start in the next video.